I do declare, with all the gravitas of a man who has seen many a ludicrous spectacle in his time, that the realms of podcasting and celebrity banter have once again provided us with an episode of such bewildering absurdity.
I had Invisalign.
You did? Really?
Yeah. A long time ago.
It wasn't even out that long ago.
Yes, it was. It's like 20 years old. It's like 20 years old.
Oh, you were like the first.
You had
No,
that
I
shit for
wasn't
real?
the first.
They had
I
that
was.
shit in
I
Canada
was.
first. Probably.
Oh, for real?
Yeah,
Park,
sure.
I have been here for 24 years.
That's true.
Okay, so
Oh,
it was
now you're saying that, huh?
It's paper time.
Now you was in America. 24.
Let's
It's green
be
card
clear.
time, nigga.
Let's be clear. I've always been clear. I'm Canadian with a green card, which is why I
go.
couldn't vote, and I've been in this country for 24 years. Let's just.
That's how they deported Simon.
We don't. We don't.
They got Simon.
Yeah, I saw that.
Who's Simon?
They got him. Simon is
Portia's
Portia's
estranged-
ex.
Yeah.
Who?
Ex-husband, Portia.
Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Oh.
Yeah.
They got Simon. He had the visa, the green card. They knocked right at his door. Yep. Come on, let's go.
They didn't
For nothing.
grace my algorithms.
No, I think his visa was expired
Yeah.
or something like that. But
They tightening up on that shit.
You have a visa and a green
No,
card.
I have a green card.
Oh, you don't get. I don't know. I'm
No,
asking.
you visa first and then green
You have
card.
a 10-year green card?
Gotcha.
Yeah, they last 10 years and then you reapply.
So did you reapply
I'm
yet?
on my second one.
Oh, you reapply
You
quick.
won't get citizenship soon, though, right?
You know, I thought about it, but every time I think about going for citizenship, Trump is in office. And then the immigration department goes to and your application just gets put under a pile and I just say, whatever. I still pay the same taxes.
Nice.
It's no big deal. Yeah.
You just can't.
when does it expire?
Why? you gonna call face on me?
No, I would never. I would never.
Can you imagine they come up here and take mail? Are we allowed to keep the footage and put it out there to the public?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Okay, where this nigga's I'm just saying, if they came in here and locked Mel up, ice.
That's the 2-for-1 because you know Amani gonna snuff him. Amani gotta snuff the ice dude if you take Mel. And he better fall. He better fall down too.
Such splendidly reckless jesting that it demands a level of scrutiny befitting the great rhetorical traditions of old. Yes, I speak of none other than the esteemed Joe Budden podcast and the moment of flippant, off-the-cuff jest wherein Mr. Budden, a man of boundless verbosity and undeniable magnetism, engages in a rather jocular exchange regarding the potential deportation of the indomitable Melyssa Ford. What an exquisite tapestry of satire, ignorance, camaraderie, and social commentary interwoven in the most nonchalant of dialogues. Here, within the confines of a studio draped in the casual air of hip-hop intellect and postmodern braggadocio, we witness a moment both utterly ridiculous and paradoxically illuminating. For in jesting about Melyssa Ford's legal residency in the United States, Mr. Budden unwittingly unearths layers of social, political, and philosophical discourse that demand further examination. And examine them we shall, with the precision of a pugilist studying his opponent's stance, with the eccentric flair of a man wholly unshackled by convention. First, let us dispense with the pretense of the benign. It would be easy, nay, convenient, to categorize this moment as mere playful banter, the sort of humorous exchange one might expect from a podcast that thrives on the chemistry of its hosts and the fluidity of their discourse. But to do so would be a grave disservice to the sheer profundity lurking beneath the surface. You see, this is no mere joke. No, this is an encapsulation of a broader socio-political anxiety, wrapped in the veneer of humor, served upon the digital airwaves for our collective amusement and contemplation. The jest stems from an innocuous conversation about immigration, documentation, and the often labyrinthine legal mechanisms that govern one's right to remain within the land of the free and the home of the brave. Melyssa Ford, a woman of undeniable wit and cultural cachet, nonchalantly admits to possessing a green card, an admission that, in an era where immigration status is more precarious than ever, carries with it an unintended weight. It is at this juncture that Mr. Budden seizes upon the opportunity, indulging in the kind of irreverent humor that is both his hallmark and his weapon. "Oh, now you're using America," he quips, the undertones of jest laced with a sardonic edge. "It's paper time." a remark that on its surface is but a playful ribbing, yet upon closer examination unfurls itself into a statement of existential inquiry. What does it mean to use America? Are we not all in some capacity engaged in a transactional relationship with this grand experiment of democracy and capitalism? Is citizenship a matter of allegiance, or is it, as Budden's quip implies, merely a matter of timing, of paperwork, of bureaucratic endurance? And then, of course, we arrive at the grand specter looming over this conversation, the man whose name, when uttered, elicits reactions ranging from adulation to visceral dread. Donald J. Trump, the great disruptor, the television tycoon turned political juggernaut, the man whose immigration policies were, and indeed remain, the stuff of heated debate, moral consternation, and legal labyrinths. It is in this context that Melyssa Ford, perhaps with a touch of weariness, expresses hesitation at pursuing citizenship during a Trump administration, knowing full well the bureaucratic purgatory that such a venture might entail. And then, with the ease of a comedian who understands the delicate dance between humor and social critique, Joe Budden seizes the moment. "You imagine it, they come up here and take Mel," he jests, his voice tinged with the theatrical exaggeration of a man painting an outlandish scenario for maximum comedic effect. And here, dear viewer, is where the absurdity reaches its crescendo. The very notion of Melyssa Ford, the esteemed media personality, the urbane commentator, the woman whose voice has echoed through the corridors of entertainment for decades, being whisked away by ICE, carted off like an unfortunate extra in a dystopian drama, is so patently ridiculous that it borders on the surreal. And yet, within the realms of this exaggerated jest lies an uncomfortable truth. The machinery of deportation does not discriminate based on cultural relevance, nor does it pause to consider the contributions of those ensnared in its grasp. One might argue that the notion of Melyssa Ford being deported is laughable precisely because of her status. She is, after all, a known entity, a woman whose name commands recognition, whose presence is familiar to the masses. The idea that she could be subject to the same draconian processes as the countless undocumented individuals whose fates are decided by cold, impersonal systems seems, on its face, ludicrous. But is it? For what is celebrity if not a fragile veneer, a construct that exists only so long as the public deems it so? The mechanisms of the state do not concern themselves with notoriety, nor do they pause for a podcast panel to debate the fairness of their actions. In this sense, the humor of the situation becomes its own indictment, an inadvertent revelation that, in the grander scheme, the distinctions we imagine between the powerful and the powerless, the known and the unknown, are perhaps not as immutable as we might believe. And what of Mr. Budden himself? The man at the center of this verbal tempest, the provocateur par excellence, the grand architect of conversational anarchy. It must be said that Joe Budden is, above all, a master of controlled chaos. He operates within the liminal space between irreverence and profundity, wielding humor as both shield and sword, reveling in the ability to push discourse to its breaking point before pulling it back from the edge. In jesting about Melyssa Ford's potential deportation, he is not merely indulging in reckless humor, though, to be sure, reckless humor is a staple of his repertoire. No, he is engaging in an age-old tradition, the tradition of the court jester, the fool who speaks truth under the guise of absurdity. For in laughing at the notion, he forces us to confront it. In making light of the bureaucracy, he forces us to examine its darkness. And so, dear viewer, we arrive at our final contemplation. Was this exchange mere frivolity, a passing joke in the ever-churning maelstrom of digital content? Or was it something more? Was it, perhaps, an unintentional microcosm of the broader absurdity that governs our political and social landscape? I put it to you that it was the latter. For in this simple exchange, this offhand banter between friends and colleagues, we find the very essence of modern discourse. The blurred lines between jest and reality, between power and vulnerability, between privilege and precarity. And in this, we are reminded that even the most innocuous of jokes can, if examined closely enough, reveal the hidden mechanisms of the world around us. Now, let us all ponder the sheer, unrelenting absurdity of it all.